Well, thanks for being here. First I'm going to have Bert talk a little bit about the history. If you've heard this, I apologize, but for those of you who haven't, Bert's going to say a little bit about that.
Storefront for Community Design opened its doors in 2011, but the idea of a citywide community design center goes back many, many years before that, with many, many people in different venues.
Storefront is the city's design center, as Bert said, and we have 4 major program areas that we really focus in. One is community engagement workshops. We also have the MOB Studio. Have any of you heard of the MOB? The MOB Studio, MOB stands for Middle of Broad. It's a collaboration with VCU Arts, the Departments of Interior Design, Graphic Design, and Fashion Design, where they work on community projects that come into Storefront over a semester-long period, cross-disciplinary. We also do some design education series where we bring in experts like you to come and talk about a topic that you're interested in, kind of the flip side of this, where we bring you into Storefront and bring the community in so you can tell people about what you do. What we're going to do is look at 4 different design plans that have come in through the Storefront process by members of the community. And what we usually do with these processes is we get these applications in, and then we start calling you guys. And we say, hey, we know you're really busy, you have an hour. One of them is to take a 15-passenger van and make it into something that for Shalom Farms that can be used to transport people and transport vegetables, and open up the back hatch and have a little table that comes out so that you can sell vegetables or give away vegetables in communities of need around Richmond. Another one is for the James River Park system. It's a landscape design plan for the 22nd Street access in the Spring Hill neighborhood. So basically it's been neglected for a long time, this part of the James River Park system. There's nothing really visible that tells you this is where you can get to the river, and they want to fix that. Another one is for the city's new facade improvement program. It's running in the Arts and Cultural District in downtown Richmond along Broad and Gray Streets. This one is for the corporate frame building. And the other one is kind of a mixed disciplinary plan. It's a community high school. It's over in the north side, right off of Brooklyn Park Boulevard, near the new Cannon Creek Greenway. So this is an idea that came in from a class there and some students and our friends at Groundwork RVA who are trying to connect in the Cannon Creek Greenway to a greenhouse that they're trying to retrofit on campus and have this be a green area that kind of connects nature to potential farming uses or gardening uses back into the high school.
What we came up with was the idea of doing a sliding platform that could be installed over top of the seats when they're folded down, so that they could just put all the crates and everything in without having to take the seats out of the van, which can be kind of tedious. So whenever they set up, wherever they were going to set up, they would slide the bed out, and then they can display their vegetables at bed height and on some staggered platforms below. And then they could set up like just a pop-up tent over top of that to help with shading and protection from the element. We also thought about installing some sort of a sliding partition so that when they are transporting crates and stuff, there's something there to keep the materials from sliding forward should they ever have to slam on the brakes or something. But that could easily be slid open when they're transporting people.
Clients looking for a little bit more landscape and a little more presence, a little more street presence. So some of the ideas that we had were start thinning out some of these trees so the actual bridge, which is a pretty nice feature, can be seen, and maybe the historic structure that's there could also be seen and maybe used as a as signage for the area as well. We figured that we could fund all of this by having beer and ice sales right about there, a little kiosk, or maybe not. And also creating a sidewalk that goes from Canoe Park, which is a realistic place for folks to park, and perhaps a new parking area here that crosses over Riverside, follows Riverside down, and gets you back to the amphitheater, and maybe links up with the trail that's already from the locked parking area to the bridge.
It's got a lot of architectural detail, especially towards the top, but in looking at it, we felt like the weakest point, or the one thing that needed the most improvement, was here at street level. It's kind of hard to see, but our first sketch, we thought maybe we take out that front storefront and we potentially try and bring a couple of these brick pilasters down, so we create a window on either side and then some sort of a new entryway.
Basically what they're trying to do is, it's very small, but there's a greenhouse right here on this parcel, and they're trying to create a more clearly defined connection between the high school up here down to this parcel with the greenhouse on it, as well as this connection between this parcel and the city's greenway across the creek, and then there's a road right here. The greenway is right there. So we kind of discussed having very clearly designed crosswalk area right here to connect the high school to this parcel, as well as clearly defined and really more welcoming entry point into the greenhouse area.
We have projects all across the board. So I want to thank you for your first storefront volunteer experience, which is what this Idea Lab became. And if this is something that you find interesting, or you want to give back in some way, either work as some of the other folks here have with the Mob Studio over a semester, meet with them 2 or 3 times, or come in and meet with the client for an hour and do something like this. This is how this work gets done around the city, and it's because of professionals like all of you that this happens.